What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can accelerate the speed of your personal and spiritual growth by 10 times just by learning the difference between observing and judging. Now, I'm not joking. You will actually speed up the rate of your growth by 10 times just by learning this key distinction. This is a very foundational topic, and this is a meta topic that you can apply to every aspect of your life. About 5 years ago, when I learned the difference between observing and judging, I saw a quantum leap in the results that I was getting in my life. I was able to meditate a lot more effectively, and I saw my awareness actually increasing tenfold. I was able to quit all sorts of addictions to weed and to porn and to video games. I was able to change my diet and eat clean fruits and vegetables. And I was also able to learn dating and relationships, and now I have an amazing girlfriend. So if you're someone who is really hard on yourself, if you're someone who has a tendency to self-judge, to guilt yourself, that's how I used to be. I used to always beat myself up because I had really high standards for myself. And whenever I didn't meet those really high standards, I would judge myself, guilt myself, and that would make me feel really sad and depressed. But when I learned this key distinction here, I was able to let go of all that self-judgment, and I saw a massive increase in my growth. All right. So what is the difference between observing and judging? All right. So let's start with judging. So judging is what all of us are naturally wired to do. It's a habitual tendency. Judging is coming from an egoic state of consciousness. So let's just say it's selfish, right? And that's okay. See, the key thing I want you to do here is we're not going to judge judging because that would be counterproductive. We're just going to observe how judging works without judging it. All right? So whenever you make a statement between something being good or bad, if you say this is good and this is bad, right? You are judging. All right? Because really there is no such thing as absolute good and bad. Good and bad only exist relative to what is good for you or what is bad for you. There isn't something that is bad in a vacuum. We're only talking about what's bad for you or what's bad for human society. All right? So if you are walking down the street and you stub your toe, you might think that's bad. Well, yeah, it's bad for you, but it's not bad in a vacuum. It's not bad in the universe, right? It just is. All right? So whenever we make a good and bad statement, then we are in a state of judging. And that's okay. That's completely normal. Human beings, the reason why we judge so much and why it's such a habitual tendency is because it helps you survive, right? You are used to judging because you call things good, you call things bad, and that helps you survive in the world. So judging is whenever you make a good or bad statement, whenever you are moralizing. Whenever you're moralizing or making should statements. So if you're moralizing or saying the word should, my girlfriend should be nice to me. My parents should love me. My kids should go to school. The government shouldn't be so corrupt. So whenever you're saying should, you are judging. Okay? Because there is really no such thing as should. There is no way that the world should be. Okay? There is a way that the world could be, but should is a could with shame smeared all over it. All right, I got that from Eben Pagan's wife. So, a should statement is a moralization, and it's not actually true. Okay, so if you pay attention to how you feel whenever you say, I should do this or I should do that, that's not actually a true statement. What feels better and is more true is I could do this. I could be nice to my parents. I could go get a job, but not that I should. All right? So judging is moralizing should, okay? And as a whole, judging is generally, it's a lower state of consciousness, okay? And we're not judging it, okay? We're not saying judging is bad, but it is a lower state of consciousness because it is coming from a place of lack. It's coming from a place of lack, and it's coming from a place of ego. Okay, it's generally fear-based. All right, so when you're walking down the street and you see a really fat woman and you judge her, you say, "Oh, she shouldn't be so fat. Why is she so fat? What a pig. She should stop eating." See, this is something that naturally happens in your mind. You have the habitual tendency of judging people and judging things. That is completely okay and normal. And the key in this video is that we are going to be observing our judgments without judging them. Okay? Because when people learn about judging, okay, and they are trying to be more spiritual or they're trying to raise their consciousness and they heard somewhere that they shouldn't judge people, they should stop judging people. Then whenever they catch themselves judging another person, they guilt themselves, then they judge themselves. So it's just a clusterfuck of judging. All kinds of judging is going on, but we're forgetting that judging is okay, it's natural and normal. All right? But it's also not really conducive to your personal growth, your spiritual growth, and your overall happiness. So if you wanted to boil down the spiritual path, one way you can frame it is that we're moving from a consciousness of judging to a consciousness of just observing and allowing and accepting. All right? Now let's talk about observing. Observing is selfless, which means that it doesn't have a personal selfish agenda. Okay? So observing, what we're doing is we're just observing the situation like a scientist would observe monkeys at the zoo. All right? Or someone who studies ants in the forest, that scientist, they wouldn't judge the ants. If they go to the forest, they have their pen and paper, and they go and they study the ant colony, they're not judging the ants. They're not saying the ants are good or bad. They're not saying, oh, that ant over there, he's a bad ant. No. They're observing with curiosity. So they just want to see, what is the ant colony actually doing? I'm not interested in whether it serves me or not. I don't care about whether the ants are good or bad. I just want to see what the ants are actually doing because I just want to understand ants. So observing is motivated by understanding. All right, that's a key. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit later all the examples of how you can practically apply this in your life, but we're just going over the differences right now. So observing is motivated by understanding, and observing is also detached. So it's selfless, it's detached. So if I'm walking down the street and I see a really fat woman, and then a thought pops up in my head that this is a fat whale of a woman, right? That's okay. I'm not judging myself for being a bad person for judging her. I'm just observing that there was a judgment. I just notice it. And I'm curious, actually. I'm actually curious. Why do the thoughts arise like that? Why did I judge her? It's so automatic. And I'm just observing the process. Oh, my mind is naturally judgmental. That's okay. That's a cool insight. Now I understand the way my mind functions a lot better. Instead of, if I were to judge myself, I would really be repressing the truth. Oh, I shouldn't judge people. See, when you say I shouldn't judge people, you're not actually understanding how your own mind works and how reality works. You're repressing it because you're rejecting it instead of embracing it. So that's a big distinction here. Judging is rejecting, whereas observing is embracing. All right? This is key. Conscious individuals, people who are self-actualizing, who are interested in their personal development and realizing their full potential as a human being, they are individuals who embrace reality with open arms because they're selfless and they're interested in understanding. They're not attached to reality. They're not selfishly attached to their own selfish agenda. They don't reject parts of reality. They don't hate other people. If you take an example like Jesus Christ, for example, why was he such a revered sage? The reason why is because he radiated unconditional love and acceptance. Everyone can enter the kingdom of heaven. It doesn't matter if you're poor, if you have leprosy, if you're a priest, if you're a king. Everyone has equal access to the kingdom of heaven. Right? And that was what made his teaching so popular, because it's based on unconditional love. It's selfless. It's embracing. Whereas before Jesus, the teaching was only if you're a priest or only if you're a king, then you can get into the kingdom of heaven. Otherwise, you're just screwed for eternity. If you're a peasant, you're screwed. Right? It's based on a lower consciousness. It's rejecting. Okay. So observing is interested in understanding, and it also has to do with awareness. Whereas judging is conceptual. So judging has to do with the mind and what you think. Whereas observing has nothing to do with what you think and just has to do with your awareness. What is? If you can take a deep breath with me and just be aware of that breath, that's your awareness. That awareness is embracing all of reality. It's just observing. It doesn't have a selfish agenda. All right? So this is really a key distinction that you have to make in your life if you want to learn how to observe better instead of judging. The best way to do that is through practicing meditation. Because meditation, all it is just observation. Just observation. Okay? And that will allow you to become a more embracing, selfless, understanding person who has more wisdom and compassion, more detached in a good way, so that you're not You're not always crying over every little thing that happens in reality, but you're allowing reality to flow, and you're going to be more aware. Okay, and also observing is also abundant. Observing says, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't have to worry about whether or not this is good for me or not. I'm just interested in learning how reality works. And the way I do that is by just observing. I'm not judging, saying good, bad, just observing, okay? Now let's get into examples. Okay, so how can we apply observing versus judging to our meditation practice? So this is a big one. Most people who start meditation are still coming from the judging consciousness. They don't know the difference between observing and judging, but now you do, so you're lucky. What people do is they sit down to meditate. They have all kinds of thoughts about sex, thoughts of hatred, anger, guilt, shame, depression, anxiety. All kinds of thoughts come up during meditation. And these newbies don't know that that is okay. The process of meditation is just to observe. But most people aren't used to that. So what they do instead, habitually, is they just start judging. They judge and judge. They judge themselves. Oh, I shouldn't think about sex while I'm meditating. Oh, I shouldn't think about drugs. Oh, I shouldn't think about how much I hate my mom. Oh, I shouldn't think about how I want to kill myself. The purpose of meditation is not to get rid of thoughts, or not to judge thoughts, or only to pick the good thoughts and not the bad thoughts. The point of meditation is to go beyond that whole process, that whole, what's the word? That whole relationship, and we're just observing. All right? And once you realize that everything is okay, you are allowed to think whatever you want during meditation. Just observe it and be aware of it. Your meditation will skyrocket and your spiritual growth will grow by 100 times. Next, diet. Okay? Many people have problems starting a new diet, losing weight, eating healthier food. Why is this such a problem for people? It's because of observing versus judging. Okay? People are trying to change their diet without actually observing their own body and their own mind. And people have a tendency to judge themselves. It's like, oh, I'm such a fat pig. I'm going to eat broccoli for the next 3 weeks because I'm such a fat pig, and I'm going to deny myself all of the junk food that I love to eat because I'm such a fat pig. So if you're coming into a new diet from a place of self-judgment, it won't work, because that self-judgment is going to make you hate your diet. The point of dieting is not to hate your diet. You're supposed to love your new diet. I love eating healthy. It makes me happy. I'm not eating healthy because I'm a fat pig and I hate myself, but I'm eating healthy because I love myself. I love eating healthy. It makes me feel good. I like it. I like eating broccoli. I like eating fruit. All right? And the key here is just observing. So if, let's say, you fall off your diet, let's say you eat some junk food, you get a craving for some bread, and your diet says you can't eat bread, and then you make yourself a bagel with cream cheese, and neither of those things are on your diet. Okay? While you're eating that bagel with cream cheese, don't judge yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm so shit at dieting. I suck. I'm such a bad person. Just observe the whole process from the beginning. Oh, I got a craving. That's okay. I'm just going to let that be there. Oh, look, I'm following my craving. Oh, that's interesting. Why am I doing that? I'm just observing. See, I'm not judging. Not, oh, I'm so shit at dieting, I can't control my cravings. See, it's a different type of self-talk. It's a different type of consciousness. Oh, I'm following my craving. That's interesting. Why am I doing that? Oh, look, I'm making a bagel, and this isn't on my diet. That's okay. Huh. Looks like I'm making a bagel. Right? So normally when people are doing this, they're distracting themselves. They're not actually paying attention to what they're doing. They're probably watching Netflix. Or they're probably on YouTube. They're not actually paying attention to what they're doing. They're not observing. Oh, look, I'm eating this bagel. Oh, it tastes so good. Oh, I love the way this bagel tastes. Oh, it's making me feel nice in my body. Oh, that's okay. Oh, look. Oh, look, I'm judging myself. Oh, look, there's judgment thoughts. They're coming up. Oh, the thoughts are saying, oh, this is going to ruin my diet. Oh, I'm going to gain weight. Oh, look at all those judgment thoughts. Look how funny they are. Let's just observe them. Let's let them do their thing. Let's not attach to them. Then I'm going to observe myself eating the bagel. Ah, wow, that was a good bagel. Wait a second. What? Now I'm starting to feel tired. Huh. That's okay. I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to say, oh, you shouldn't have eaten that bagel, you fat whale. No. See, I'm just observing. Oh, I feel tired now. Huh. I guess that now when I eat a bagel, it makes me tired. Oh, that's a cause and effect relationship. Now I learned that. Because most people think they know that eating bread makes them tired, but they don't actually observe it in their experience. So they don't actually learn the lesson. So next time you eat junk food, don't judge yourself. Just let yourself do it. Let yourself do it. And this is moving into the next point, addictions. If you're trying to quit an addiction like junk food or maybe smoking, don't say every time you smoke, oh, I'm so unhealthy. I suck. I'm such a bad person. Just observe, just watch. Oh, I'm smoking. Huh. Actually take a conscious puff of the cigarette. Actually pay attention. Literally, like consciously observe your craving, observe yourself lighting the cigarette, observe yourself taking in the pull. Huh, that's weird. When I pull in a cigarette, my lungs are kind of constrict and it kind of hurts. It feels a little bit gross. That's okay. Oh, what? Oh, the nicotine's kicking in. Oh, now I feel good. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to keep doing that. Smoke the whole cigarette consciously, just how you would normally do it, without judging yourself. And I guarantee you that after you smoke a whole pack of conscious cigarettes, where you're not on the phone with your friends, you're not, you're not distracting yourself, but you're actually doing it consciously, where you're fully in your body, then you will quit cigarettes forever because you will be too conscious of exactly how it negatively impacts your body. We're just observing. Okay, we're going beyond judgment. Even if you decide not to quit, that's okay too. You can do whatever you want. Just observe. All right? New one. Learning new skill. This is very important. If you want to live a happy and successful life, it's going to require you learning new skills all the time. Your whole life is going to constantly be you learning new skills if you're someone who's interested in self-actualization. Okay? So learning a new skill such as meditation. Or maybe let's say I'm learning a new skill such as making videos. Okay? Let's say I want to be a YouTuber and I've never made a video before, but I have to learn the new skill of speaking on to the camera. Okay? Normally, honestly, when I speak to the camera, I suck a lot of the times. I'm really bad at doing it. And especially in the beginning, it was really difficult. It was hard for me to form coherent sentences. Even nowadays, when I turn the camera on to make a video, it takes me a bunch of tries to even get a good take. Right? But I don't judge myself. I don't say, oh, I suck at speaking to the camera. Or, oh, I'm such a shit content creator. No, instead I just observe the process. Oh, it's hard to speak to the camera, but if I keep trying, then eventually I get a good take. And then I improve as well. I get more comfortable. So my old videos are really bad, but my newer videos are getting better. Right? And this is a process. I'm observing the process. Most people quit after their first video is too hard. It's too hard to speak coherently to the camera. Or maybe they make 10 videos and they're like, oh, my videos suck. I'm never going to have more subscribers. So they just quit. But if we observe ourselves learning the new skill, we'll learn the skill faster because we're not judging ourselves. We're not resisting. We're not attached. All right? We're just allowing ourselves to learn the new skill. And sometimes it's hard. And that's okay. Just observe the process. This is true for any new skill. If you want to learn something like coaching, that's something that I learned recently. Hop on a coaching call with me on Instagram. We'll see if I can help you. New skills like video production, doing yoga. That was a skill I had to learn. I didn't know how to do yoga. Now I know how to do yoga. I went to classes. It was hard. I had never stretched before. My muscles were tight. Most people don't go to yoga because they judge themselves. They're like, oh, I suck. I suck at yoga. Or I'm not flexible. Or I haven't exercised in so long and I'm a bad person, so I'm never going to go to yoga. It's like, no. Just observe the process. Oh, stretching is hard. Oh, it feels good. Next, relationships. A massive one. All right? If you are having an argument with your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, just observe that. Why are we arguing? Just be curious. Don't say, oh, I'm such a shit boyfriend. Oh, my girlfriend's such a bitch. Oh, my boyfriend's such an asshole. They suck. It's like, no. Just observe. Why are we arguing? Actually be curious. Oh, look. Oh, wow, I'm angry now. There's angry emotions in my body. Why is that? Let's just watch them. What is anger? Where does it come from? Why does it arise? Oh, my girlfriend's angry. Why is she angry? What's going on over there? Why does she feel that way? Why do we keep arguing? Right? Or even when you have relationships with anyone, with your mom, your dad, your siblings, even if you're dating as well, if you're learning how to date, right? This is a whole skill that you have to learn, right? I used to suck at flirting. I used to be way too logical and conceptual, and I was really weird when I would flirt with girls. But I learned the skill of dating. How did I learn this? If every single time I went up to a girl to talk to her and I got rejected, if every single time that happened, I judged myself and beat myself up and told myself that I was a loser and that I'm going to die a virgin, if I did that to myself, then I would never actually learn the skill of flirting and dating. But instead, this was when I was starting to get into meditation. So I realized that I'm just learning a skill. So I'm learning how to talk to girls. I'm gonna suck for the first little bit, but then eventually I'm gonna get better. So while I suck in the beginning, I'm not gonna judge myself. I'm gonna be forgiving with myself. That's the key. All right. So those are all the practical examples. Meditation, stop judging yourself. Diet, stop judging yourself. Addiction, stop judging yourself. Learning new skills, stop judging yourself. Relationships, stop judging yourself. Okay? Now also, before this video ends, I want to talk about judging. Okay, we touched on this before, but you are still going to judge yourself all the time. Okay, this is not something that's going to go away. You're not going to stop judging. The key is to observe judging. All right? So this is a completely different way of interacting with reality. The next time you catch yourself judging yourself or another person, just allow that, accept that. Put a big smile on your face, like, oh, I judged someone. It's okay. That's really interesting. So we're not judging. We're observing judging. And the way you cultivate observing is by doing daily meditation, which I have other videos about, which you should check out, such as my video, How to Meditate for Beginners. All right. So that's all I have to say here. This is a serious meta video here. It might seem very simple, but this distinction is something you are going to learn over the next 5-10 years. As your spiritual journey deepens, you're going to learn a lot about the difference between observing and judging. Okay, don't think you understood everything that needs to be talked about. This is really a deep structural thing that is right at the core of reality. Really what we're talking about is the difference between the ego and the spirit or the self. And then we're learning how to merge them together so that the spirit embraces the ego or the separate self. All right? So by becoming a better observer, you're actually merging these things together, and this is how you become a really powerful and integrated human being who can have a positive impact on other human beings' lives and just enjoy your life to the fullest, basically. All right? So that's all I have to say about observing and judging. This was how to accelerate your spiritual and personal growth by 10 times by learning the difference between observing and judging. Observing is selfless, understanding, detached. It's about awareness, and it's about being abundant. Judging is rejecting. It's selfish. It's making good or bad evaluations. It's making should statements. All right? It's conceptual. It's in the mind. Right? And it's based in lack. All right? So that's all we have to say here. If you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe. Stay tuned. I have new videos coming out weekly, sometimes multiple times a week. Stay tuned for my Spiral Dynamics series. I'm working on Stage Purple. That's going to come out soon. That's going to be an amazing series. And also stay tuned because soon I will be releasing, it's going to be a meditation course. I'm not going to say too much more about that, but it's going to be absolutely amazing if you're a spiritual seeker who is interested in accelerating your spiritual growth and having your first awakening experience or your first Satori experience where you are actually transcending the ego. This is often a very blissful and amazing experience. Then I'm going to be releasing a course that is going to help you have your first Satori experience. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll release a video explaining how that's going to work. All right. If you get early access, then there's going to be some bonuses for you. So if you're watching through this far in the video, awesome. That means that you're going to get some awesome bonuses. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one.